Shut up! Shut up! Just shut up! Stop it! Please, just stop it! Oh, that's right. You can't hear it, can you? Oh no, why would anybody else be allowed into my own personal hell? I must sound like a madman right now. I must. Well, let me explain it. A few months ago, someone moved across the hall from me. Someone who snores very, very loudly. I couldn't sleep. I'm not what you would call a light sleeper, but I couldn't sleep through that din. For weeks. Weeks I couldn't sleep at all. So I did the only sensible thing. I walked across the hall and I confronted him. I had to force the door, and there he was, in his room, snoring. So I took my pillow and I stopped the sound. And I waited till his legs stopped kicking and his fists stopped pounding the air. Because that way, I knew I'd never have to hear it again. I could sleep, and I did sleep that night. I slept. It was wonderful. Oh, so wonderful. I was awakened by snoring. His snoring. I'd know it anywhere. It was his. And it didn't stop. Oh no, it went on all day, and all night, and all the next day, and all the next night, for a whole week, and then another week, and pretty soon it was a month, and another month, and it still hasn't stopped. I can hear it right now, that horrible in and out sound, like methane bubbling up in a swamp. I haven't slept in months. But it's different now. Things are gonna change because I've looked out my window and seen the city. And it's not the city I live in. Oh no! It's a different city. The angles, they're changed. And I see things stalking the streets. Such horrible things. But they'll help. I'm sure they will. I'll find a way. I'll stop the snoring. Because I've got help now. When I came home today, I found a book that I never saw before, nestled in my shelf with the others. I found this book. Come on, let me share it with you.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway.
Tonight's game, Don't Rest Your Head, takes you into the dark, twisted, mad city. A place where bizarre anachronisms abound. A place where dark forces chase you round every bend. A place when you discover the horrible, nightmarish powers of your own mind. A place where the night never ends.
When was the last time you remember doing something during the day?
What do you mean?
I just mean during the day. Daylight. When was the last time you remember...
Hey! Stop that. Cut it out. Come on, people. This is more than just Dark City, the RPG. It has a lot of really good, strong, original ideas. Like 13 o'clock, where the clock strikes 13 and the nightmares come out in force and you feel... I hate you so much right now.
Hate leads to suffering.
Not today, CGI Yoda, because today I review a great RPG. In fact, this is the single best horror RPG I've ever run. Okay, it's the only horror RPG I've ever run, but there's a good reason for that. Now, I suppose you're wondering what Don't Rest Your Head is all about. I mean, with a title like that, can't help but be put in mind of horrible 80s slasher films.
Don't answer the phone.
But it's not like that, not at all! Just hear me out, okay? The basic conceit of the game is that for one reason or another, all of the protagonists, that is, the player characters, have been awake for a long time. So long, in fact, they begin to see the cracks in reality. They begin to see doors and windows that weren't there before, sometimes whole buildings nestled between ones they walk by every day. And they start to slip into the Mad City. And the Mad City is a place where it's always night and where the nightmares rule. The most iconic and terrible of them is Officer Talk. He's a policeman with a clock for a head. Really? That's the gag we're going with? Okay. Well, anyways, under Officer Talk, you have the Clockwork Lieutenants, these creepy mechanical bobbies who are pretty weak, but tend to swarm you. And then there's the Taxman, whose head is, well, attack. He steals things from the protagonists. Things like their name or their memories or their shadow. He uses needle-nosed dogs and the pinheads. I bet you can guess what their heads are. You've also got the paper boys running around, these creepy little guys made out of paper. And they tend to write stories. And it's really hard to make sure what they write doesn't actually happen. Beneath the city, you also have the Wax Kingdom. It's ruled by the Wax King. He has serving him primarily the Blind Knights, these creepy skeletal figures who have candles where their eyes should be, and the Smothered Folk, who are covered in wax completely. And of course, above, high up above, in the tallest building, you have the high school, which is run by Mother Wen. Mother Wen is the creepiest school marm you've ever met. The only people who graduate are girls, and they become the ladies in hating. Now, don't get me wrong, Mother Wen is scary, but the book pushes her too far. They try and sell her as a personification of death. Please, we all know death's not that old. Or creepy. Oh, and I should point out, they give you a general layout of the Mad City. Down below you've got the Wax Kingdom and the Nowheres. They leave the Nowheres specifically undefined so the GM can make it up. And up above you've got District 13, where Officer Talk and the Taxman have power. And of course you have the rooftop jungle on top of all the buildings. Enough with the Dark City already! That isn't any